How the F do you make friends as an adult if you don't drink? To many comments to reply to, thanks for the awards, however, put it towards charity, I have no use for them. Hobbies alone was a broad statement. Basically, the goal is to meet new people. Seek discomfort is a good phrase and a good model presentation of how to meet new people. Google their YouTube channel. Hobbies can be good, but it's hard to find the small groups that have no internet presence. Volunteering, charity work, etc. is more aimed at helping X, while you benefit in socializing. My anecdote, others may vary. The other fishing, hunting, etc. groups come from making connections. Door knocking, leaving letter, etc. asking for permission, and slowly building a blue book of properties to hunt and fish while cleaning up their property in return. Plus, you can ask if they want me to take anyone in their family with me, or can I bring a person over, etc. after trust is built. Lastly, if anyone reads my handle, it's okay to be alone. Then at some point you will realize that that person is your friend as that process repeats itself, and more casual and personal things are exchanged and spoken of. The more often you go, the more regulars will recognize you and eventually strike up a conversation. Community involvement through work. Good luck. If you like doing things with your hands, wood/metalwork/fabrics, etc., electronics or programming, hacker/makerspaces are great. They usually have themed events and classes, as well as social events. That's where I made my current friends when I moved to a new city. Yep, get really into a hobby. Go to meet-ups and conventions of the hobby. Kind of difficult currently with COVID, since it's canceled and shut down a lot of conventions and meetups, but hopefully once COVID gets under control, they start up again. I'm 35. In the last 10 years, I can honestly say I have 1 or 2 friends that I've kept close contact with. I started getting back into collecting sports cards right before the pandemic hit. Through sharing my passion through IG, I have made probably at least 20 online friends and a few local friends now that I talk to every day, and not just about our favorite hobby. Shit is weird. You see someone doing something you do, or like to do, or are curious. Hit him with a compliment, and then with a follow-up question. Met some of my best friends because I liked the colon they were wearing, ha. Have you considered joining a cult? Join clubs, meetups, activities, hobbies, work, volunteer, online, or simply go out to socialize during the day or early evenings. Dungeon and Dragons. The first couple of times bring some goodies if you want to grease the wheels. Fucking best way to find friends. Went from 2 to 20 in a couple of months. Links for people that want to play D&D. For finding a group. Reddit LFG Basic Rules. Rule set PDF site used for online D&D. Roll20 site with pre-made characters. Ask the DM if he allows use of these. Pre-made characters, more tools. D&D Beyond. 38 years old and played my first game last week. Well enjoyed and will be playing again tonight. 35 here. I started about a year ago. I wasn't too sure about it at first, but man, is it fun now. Have fun tonight. Or simply go out to socialize during the day or early evenings. How does this work practically? You can't go up to people in a cafe and join in or introduce yourself to people in the street. Edit. Lots of people saying you can go up to a person in the street and be friends. I know we are paranoid, but I think if somebody did that to me, I'd expect them to murder me later. Meetup. Com has a lot of planned events that are open to anyone. My own volunteer org, Toastmasters, also does a lot of online meetups at the moment. But Meetup itself has anything from sports to special interest groups to crafts. Really anything. One more huge one. Get a dog. Not a small house dog, but a mid-large active breed. It's the best friend you'll ever have, and you can go hiking with it, dog parks, and many other social activities that will help you meet other people with similar interests. Was I the only one who thought that would end with? And then you'll find out that you never needed friends in the first place. I highly recommend volunteering. I moved to Philly 2 years ago and immediately started volunteering at a local nonprofit queer bookstore. I made a bunch of friends like me, bookworms/weirdos, and really got connected to the community. I have a lot of social anxiety, and having a clear objective, working in the store, helped ease that. Wait, we need to chat, LOL. I'm in Philly. I'm queer, and I've been wanting to volunteer or join some communities. I'll DM you. The closest I've gotten to making new friends is through 1. My kids' sports, just hanging with the other parents or coaching teams. I don't consider any of them to be friends, but we enjoy hanging out and shooting the breeze at games. But once sports are over, I'll never see them again, but if I run into them randomly, I'm sure we'll chat for a minute, solid acquaintances. 2. Video games. Just having a regular group of randoms in a server regularly is nice. I play a racing game, and the others are typically all from other countries, but tech chat is fun, and it's at least interaction with people I don't live with. If I really wanted friends, I'd probably have to go back in time and do a better job keeping in touch with my old group of buddies. Beyond here is an edit due to it's never too late to keep in touch reply. Edit. Yes, I agree, it's usually never too late, but when you literally don't even know what to say or talk about with an old friend, who is a very good friend, and you're hoping that you can just talk about their kids' sports, I think it is pretty damn late. But this happens to millions of people. It's normal, and I don't dwell or recommend anyone else dwell on it. My parents, mid-70s, moved into a 55-plus housing community, houses not assisted living, and they've made friendly with neighbors, play cards, popping for a drink on occasion, so maybe it gets easier later. And I'm not really sad about not having friends. I'm a bit to myself and enjoy short, earnest conversations with the many people I've gotten to know. My kids' sports maybe because my wife and I are insufferable assholes, but we can't stand most of the parents of the kids on my son's baseball team. They're like carbon copies of the worst Karen you've ever met. Video games can actually be awesome for finding friends. Maybe it's a Texas advantage, but as my games have servers for the South, you don't have to look too far to find a nice person an hour or less away. My turn to shine since I moved countries 3x as an adult. Ranked from most effective to least. Work, never eat lunch alone, organize hangouts after work, professional networking organizations. Nothing bonds more than hating your industry/job together, going out alone and chatting up strangers. Woman here, and have befriended men who approach me this way, so don't say this won't work for men. You just have to genuinely want to be friends instead of being a creeper. If you have kids and they have kids, they'll want to be friends, Reddit. If someone in a niche subreddit you're into happens to mention they live in your city, just go, hey, I live there too. Want to meet up? The more niche the sub, the higher chance of making friends. Random fun classes/activities. If you're both into it, you probably will click. Online dating. Surprisingly made many good friends of this. If I met you at work, you're a work friend. If I met you at school, you're a school friend. Going out and meeting people also feels really weird and uncomfortable. I don't know if this makes sense, but suggestions are welcomed. I think it's good you recognize what you're struggling with. I think it's actually normal for people so separate people into work friends, drinking buddies, etc. As we get older, our requirements for friendships just go up because everyone has so much commitments, family, relationships, work, etc., that we have little time to invest in friendships. So people naturally become more selective with who they become friends with. I noticed every casual friend I converted to a lifelong friend had one thing in common. When I was there for a rough period/moment. Here are some of the cases. I was the only one to visit her in the hospital when I found out she had a near miscarriage and visited her regularly to entertain her during bed rest. I didn't act awkward after she confessed she was a former heroin addict. I kept checking to see if he's okay after his father's death. Those moments don't come all the time, which is why making good friends is hard. But if they come and you're there, you'll definitely be a lifelong friend. The friends that I have made in adulthood were not made through boozy social situations. Even though I'm Irish and we love our boozy socials. I made friends by asking a couple of the girls if they'd like to grab a coffee after class, and then it became a weekly thing, coffee after class. It doesn't have to be dance, any kind of class works, even if it's an educational one. Evening classes are a great place to make new friends. Then, and I know everyone's workplace is different, sit with people at lunch hour instead of eating at your desk or in your car. Chat to people during the workday and find out things about them. If they have a family, if they have any hobbies, etc. Then, when you build up a bit of friendliness, ask them if they'd like to go for lunch or, yes, I know, again, a coffee after work, and so forth. It definitely helps to be friendly and outgoing. I'm not naturally outgoing, but I'm naturally a very friendly person, so I guess that makes me approachable. So try to be approachable and learn the art of small, friendly talk. You can be friendly and smiley and strike up a bit of conversation. I think this might depend where you live. I'm Northern English, and this is how I have made friends in adulthood. My Southern friends think it's really weird, though. I introduced them to a friend, and it was something like, "Where did you two meet?" "Here, in the pub." "All right. So were you introduced to each other by someone else?" "No." "So how did you get chatting?" I don't know. We were just in the pub." Seemed odd to them. All of these are great. I just want to touch on number 4, as I am a bartender in a place that's typically very popular. You're more than welcome to hang out at a bar and not drink. Thrilled to have you, truly. You're going to be easy to manage, and I know you're not going to get wasted. That being said, club soda costs very little, and you probably get free refills. So if you go to a bar and just drink club soda, make sure you tip your bartender appropriately. If you hang out for 2 hours and have 5 club sodas, you'll get a bill for like $4. This means the 20% rule no longer applies. Try to throw your bartender $1 each time they bring you another club soda. It'll only cost you a few dollars, and no bartender will scoff at $1 per drink. They'll be thrilled. If you're hanging out at a bar within a restaurant, the bartender probably makes more money off of people dining at the bar. I love Steve and I want him here, but this other guy wants a steak and a bottle of wine, and that's good real estate. I love my bar regulars who don't drink, and they keep me and my bottom line in mind. So come hang at my bar. I think people underestimate how far a decent tip at the bar will go, and genuine conversation if they're not busy. I'm on ski patrol, and we all go to the bar after we close the mountain. I usually tip $1 or $2 with every drink. I can't tell you how many times the bartender sees me walk in and has my drink ready, or gives us the happy hour special if we are a few minutes late from closing. Treat them well, and they'll treat you well. Where's your bar? I could go for a steak and club soda. Haha, actually about to start a new place. If this wasn't my more anonymous ACCT, I'd tell you. I'm a regular at a bar where I either get soda water or the cheap utility beer. And if it ever starts to get busy and one of the keeps asks me, "Hey man, I could use this space," I'm not bothered at all. I know they don't mean anything personally. And even with cheap beer, I've spent plenty of money there over the years. It also happens to be a barcade, so that's usually a good signal to go play games, LOL. You stand too close to random people at the groceries, and when they ask you what's your problem, you tell them you don't have any friends. Then you hug it out and become friends. 1. Be passionate about some stuff that adds substance to your life. 2. You don't need a lot of friends. 3. When you talk to people, strangers, coworkers, etc., be your 100% genuine self. This should help you avoid being a doormat. If you find you're still a doormat, you should revisit step 1. My best friend and I really only share a couple things. Our love of gangster rap and 90s hardcore punk, and our beliefs in undying, over-the-top self-empowerment. That's not exactly shit I hear people talking about at parties. Oh yeah, on my way over, I was bumping some fucking Mac Breed and yelling at myself in the rear view. Look at what you've done with your life, motherfucker. How far you've come. Keep fucking going. It's a real bonding part of social life for the apparently large majority of society. I got a part-time night job at a comedy club when I didn't even need the money, just to see free shows, and made a ton of friends. Got to meet Kevin Hart and Bob Saget too. In my experience, adults don't want friends. They want activity partners. Pick an activity that you enjoy doing, find some people to do it with. If you're lucky, some friendships will organically arise from that. If you're really lucky, they'll even stay friends with you after one or both of you stop doing that activity. But mostly, people just want activity partners. Yeah, this is hard for me, which is easier when there isn't a pandemic going on. Dungeons and Dragons is what worked for me. Is this thread a big D&D ad, or is it really that effective? Tinder, Grindr, Planter, copyright/trademark, March 26th, 2021. I decided to try out Bumble's BFF feature, and it's pretty dead. If there's a better app for matching with platonic friends, I'd like to know. I've been using the Slowly app during the pandemic and have developed some good friendships on there, but they're all located halfway around the world. If you're around or in a city, walking a dog is the best conversation starter. This is so true. For all the people saying join a sports team, whilst that can be generally true, it's one, not possible in a lot of places just now due to COVID restrictions, and two, overlooks the fact that almost inevitably sports social events end up involving lots of drinking. Adults don't care if you drink. Now, many adults do enjoy drinking, but actual adults don't really care if you just want to hang out. I'm in my 30s. I do drink. My wife doesn't. Here's the thing in your 30s. Y'all go to a brewery or some such, well, not so much lately. And the whole group will always have a few people not drinking for any or all of the following reasons. Driving, pregnant, on a prescription that makes it inadvisable, don't feel like it. Don't like what's available. The flesh drinks only blood, and generally no one cares if they're a mature group worth hanging out with. Hey raised the question to ask, do you mean that you only want to hang out in situations where people aren't drinking? That's a different thing and a bit more limiting. But seriously, mature adults deal with all sorts of reasons people won't drink. This isn't college. No one thinks your coolness is derived from crushing Miller Lights. In college, no one worth hanging out with cared either. Drinking doesn't bring friends. School, uni, job, conventions do though. If you spend your entire day jerking off at home, for sure you won't meet anyone else and therefore not make any friends. Alcohol has nothing to do with that. You drink with friends you already have. Noon makes friends by drinking. An adult Redditor asking other adult Redditors on Reddit how to make friends. This is a stereotype, surely.